Hi there guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's little job that we're going to be working on is getting the replacement injectors installed to the Fordson Dexta. As you can see here, I've got some reconditioned units to replace the previous injectors that were totally shot, and even the reconditioning lads said that they weren't even worth saving. So I have now got some nice fresh units here to go onto the Dexta. I got these from Sheaf Diesel Services on eBay, and they were really good to deal with. Because the injectors were totally shot, I had to pay a little bit extra because there's a surcharge, because they obviously can't recondition the previous lot, or so they say, hopefully. But anyway, I'm pleased to see these on the bench now, and we'll hopefully be able to get this machine up and running a few months later than I'd really hoped. But I've had some other projects going on. As you would have seen, I've been working on a van, and we've had a bit of landscaping to do out the back, so that's kept me busy over the past few months. So I'm pleased to be getting back onto a few of my projects from earlier in the year.
You've done the lift pump a few times.
Is that
Yeah.
life or not really?
Not yet.
Needs charged longer.
Oh, it doesn't sound like it's got quite a...
But that's fuel there.
Are they a slack, are they?
Well, no, it's probably... So I just wasn't really happy with how this battery was turning the engine over, and I've charged it a good few times now and it just doesn't seem to last 2 seconds. So I've been down the road and picked up a replacement battery here, which has got a higher cranking amps and it's slightly narrower in length, so it will actually fit in the battery bay a bit nicer without interfering with the bonnet as this one has. Fucking leaves.
no diesel coming out anywhere. There's a hole in the exhaust for water, the drain point. I haven't actually adjusted the throttle body yet, so the throttle point might, the idle might be too low, you know.
The video now?
Yeah. I'm just trying to see if it'll go down the idle. Ticking over alright there, like. What you saying? That runs off a little liner here. On a dime. Little star. to see.
Sounds so nice.
So I'm absolutely over the moon to see this tractor fired up and actually running for the first time in about a year since I got the machine. And there's been a lot of work done. As you can see, I've got some new wheels, but they need to go on, and then we can get out and give it a test drive. So as you can see, today I've managed to get the new wheels installed on the front end there, and it's safe to say that's really improved the look of the tractor now that the front tyres actually have some air in. So I've got this flasher unit here connected up with a positive feed and 2 positive returns to the indicators, and no matter where I put this switch of the 3 positions, the lights are just permanently illuminated, and the center light isn't coming on either. As you can see, no flashing, just permanently illuminated. Just want to show that these wires are actually all connected up properly, so I'm just going to bridge both positives for one side and then bridge the positives for the other side, so you can see that the negatives are in fact connected. As you can see there, that is illuminated and that side is not. So I've just been doing a little bit of troubleshooting with this wire in here, and sure enough, after putting a post up on one of the Dexta forums that I am on, we talked over the possibility that it was the bulb's resistance. But with them being LEDs, the resistance is too low, and sure enough, the flasher works a treat. The bulb lights up, and I've got this connected up just to the side lights here, just temporarily to test it out, and that's going to work a treat if I can get this switch to work with an LED, either by adding a resistor or I'll figure some way out, but that just confirms that the switch does work. Just a little follow up here, the switch does now in fact work, and the flasher unit does its job and the middle light lights up while connected to a proper bulb that is not LED. Here I'm just quickly using the press brake to bend up a small stainless bracket. This is a small project that I've worked on over the past few years. If anyone would like to see a follow-up video on the press, just let me know in the comments. So as you would have seen in the last video there, I've just been bending up this little stainless bracket to install a brake switch. Not that you can see that very well with the sun, but that's triggering the brake light. So I'm now on to the next weekend here, and I've had a delivery from Agriline. Got myself some replacement gaskets for the combustion chamber plates on the side of the cylinder head, as I was pretty certain I could see just very slight seepage of compression pressure from those plates. The gaskets are shot, they're ancient, you know what I mean. So I've got some fresh ones here to go on, and I've also got some 12 volt Ford style indicators that are going to go into the system to replace where I've got the side lights at the moment, to trigger the flasher unit, as the LEDs by themselves just don't have the correct resistance to set the flasher unit off. So with having some standard bulbs in the circuit, then I can always add more LEDs where I want them or for the trailer, so it's not pulling loads of draw, but it still gives good bright lights to either have work lights or indicators on the trailer, or some more on the cab when I get the cab fitted. So I've had a look at the tractor itself, and I've figured out an area where I think the indicators are going to go pretty nicely on the mudguards. I'm going to do it in line with where the roll bar is, but just out enough so that when the cab goes on, they aren't going to have to come off, so they can stay on the tractor, and then I could have additional lights in the cab all connected on a removable terminal. So if the cab ever is removed, the wiring is detachable and can be left on the cab as well. So with having these lights going through the mudguard, obviously I don't want these protruding too far above where the tyre is, so I'm going to trim a little bit of this hollow bolt here, just so that the wiring can be kept nice and safely out the way of the tyres, as if they pick up a bit of dirt or any sticks or rocks or whatever, I don't want them to rip the indicator wiring off straight away. So I'm going to probably just use a hacksaw and take it steady just to trim this, as obviously there's wires inside and I don't really want to have to take the wires all the way out, although I may still have to do that. We'll see how I get on. So this is the inside of the indicators here. I just ended up removing this and taking the wires out, as it meant I could properly trim this down in length and deburr the outside and the inside of the part, so the wires won't chafe. And I've still left a little bit of length, so when the nut and spring washer goes on, I can slide some conduit up and over this threaded section here and get a bit of insulated tape over that, and then that's going to protect the wires coming from this indicator into the mudguard and away down the body of the tractor. So if I compare the length here, you can see I've taken about 15 to 20 mil off the end of that, and that's going to give me plenty of clearance for the wiring to just scoot above the tyre and away into the mudguard. Just opening up the hollow bolt here just to give clearance for some insulated 2-core wire to go in, rather than the 2 single strands that were supplied with the lamps. So as you can see, I've managed to trim these bolts right down, and I've ran some insulated wire here linking from the indicator feed in the side lights to the main indicator here, and that's going to give me a 12-volt bulb, an LED side light here, and then the LED indicators that are magnetic, that are removable for going onto a trailer. So I'm just going to set the flasher away now, show you that it's working. As you can see, the switch is flashing, and we've got a nice bright light on the indicator there. Not going to struggle to see that. and nice bright LEDs for on the trailer. So that's looking great. I'll flick the other side on just to check it's all working properly. As you can see, we've got all the proper lights flashing on that side now, so that's looking great. One step closer to being road ready. So as you can see here, I've got these combustion plates back in place and got the exhaust fitted as well. And I've torqued these studs all up to 15 foot-pounds to match the injector studs. And as you would have seen, I put a little bit of RTV just around all the copper gaskets, just to make sure that they're all going to make a good seal this time. And I'm going to leave these to set for a day now, and hopefully when we come back she'll have a better chance of firing up on her own steam.